Hello there, and welcome to episode 6 of my Rimworld Biotech tutorial series. Today we have a couple of things up ahead of us. First of all, winter is coming, and we're going to prepare for that. So I pretty much did all the preparations already in the last episode, but we now need to execute them. We have set up a build for jacket making. We have fields that are going to be harvested very soon. And this should be really enough for us to bring us through the winter. But this is going to be a pretty good first contact with winter. So first of all, I want to show you here. When you're when you're checking out your world tile, there's this line here, growing period. Here we go. 30 of 60 days we have a growing period. So the 6th of September is officially the end of the growing period. That's tomorrow. So by that time, your colonists usually stop planting out things if they are smart. Sometimes they're dumb and they're still planting out a little bit too long. But the long story short, once the growing period is over, if everything is working as intended, your colonists will stop planting out new stuff on the fields because it's just getting too cold for that. So all in all, we have a big acre of potatoes. We have a big second big acre of potatoes. We have strawberries and we have rice. So on that end, we're really well off. We certainly do have one problem though. We have not a single indoors area that's really warm, except for this one. And never mind me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to see. The campfire is the pre-electricity form of staying safe in the winter. All you need basically is at least one room with a campfire and you're good to go. So we could just set up another one over here to ensure there's another room for staying warm. Because once your characters are freezing, there's it's a constantly adding debuff, which kills them at some point. So to make sure that our harvest is not going to die during the early winter, I'm using the harvest command here to make sure that these things are going to get plucked as fast as possible. Because once it is too cold for the plants, there's here minimum growth temperature, and temperatures below 0 cause damage over time. So as you see there, it is 1 degree Celsius. It's almost there that these plants will suffer damage from the cold, and that's where you should really act. So we're going to see, do we have anybody on duty there? So one major thing about Rimworld is it really pays off to check on out your work schedule there and make sure that your folks have the priorities right. So at the moment, I think it will be way more important for Gray to stop cutting all those stones and start harvesting all those plants. I did that prioritization before on the crafting because I wanted to make sure that we're going to get the stone blocks for our defenses. But that situation has changed. We have all the stone blocks we required, and therefore we need to change up Gray's schedule before our crops will die. That would be a shame. At times you can also assign more people than that. So we're going to shift Vunas off from building to the fieldwork. Right now she's just finishing her last job. They usually do. And now she's swapping over to harvesting the strawberry plants. So this also means that our workshop, which provides warm clothing, will take a while longer, but that's not necessarily such a terrible thing, because as long as we have one warm room, outside cold temperatures don't matter that much. So to know where you need to worry about, you can check out the gear tab, and here's the comfortable temperature range, 6 Celsius to 36 Celsius. Here we have 11, here we have -14, or Dude's Petite is just warm fur. And a possum here has the same, -4, and Gray. So, long story short, Vunas, Rolly, and Gray will freeze outside if they stay outside too long. We're just chilling out here in an eclipse if you're wondering why the night is so long. There we go. That's how the world is actually looking like. Isn't it great? So, What we're focusing on now is getting in the harvest. Oh, our next animal has a disease. It's the same old, same old. We have a sleeping spot assigned, that's the most important thing. And animals get through diseases like that even with the lowest amount of medical attention, basically. As a rule of thumb, as long as you have some medicine out for the critters, they usually totally survive that. Here, you also see that Vunas has now a major break risk, so that's because she got cheated on by a Grey. So, turns out that Grey and Vunas were ex-lovers once in a past situation, obviously. And now that Rowley and Grey are together, Vunas is quite pissed about that. Social interaction in this game plays quite a big role, and paying attention to that is quite useful. Thanks for the community for pointing that out, because I certainly missed out on that. Anyways, you have also a Maka over there, need warm clothes. So this is giving you a nice warning about the fact that we don't have the necessary preparations yet for the upcoming winter season. It's pretty good. Also, the storyteller just gifted us a meteorite. So from time to time you have these incidents that just some big resource chunks slap on the map, and that's that. Take it and enjoy it. Alright, so as you see there, the harvest is quite a lengthy process, keeping us busy entire day. But by the end of this, check this out. We have now 700 potatoes. You can also see that, of course, over here. And these last 30 days. During winter, the temperatures will plummet below 0. So we're going to... Yeah, we're going to do this like that. There's a good reason not to have that campfire in the room where I'm going to store my food during winter. I'm going to show you. Because you can use winter as a really decent way of conserving your food, but not if you have a heat source in your freezer. So what we're going to do is we're going to toggle the automatic refueling of this fireplace off, order Vunas to work on that campfire, because if we quench that one fire, we still need one. And now we have to check on out those builds. So I want those builds here to be used on that one too. So I'm using the copy to clipboard thing. And we're just going to paste that down. Hit the buttons, that is. Here we go. So this way you can simply copy pasta your previous jobs. And there is a mod called Dubs Mint Menus, which actually eases up that entire copy pastaing a lot. But I wanted to keep this series as mod-free as possible for all those people who are on the edge of buying the game or just starting out, because I don't want to make it look like all the other people who are running it with mods, because that's actually really confusing if you're new to the game. Alright, enough about that. So, as you see, the fields are empty now, so we can get back into the work schedule here and tune them back to the minor priority here. There we go. Gray still has now topmost priority on plant things first, but he's also ready for other things. So, remember the ambrosia sprouts from the last time? Gray's now going to harvest some trees here, because if you have the allow sowing disabled there, the game definitely will harvest everything that's mature inside the zone, even trees, as you see. So you can use the grow zone also as a designator to harvest things once they are mature. That works with all manner of different things. You can also slap a little growing zone below this little guy here, and then toggle this, and then every time that bush is ready, your dudes will go on there and pluck it. The only downside to that strategy is a quite simple one. All these plants outside there, they have a where is it? A lifespan. So after 48 days, this berry bush will die, and then your little growing zone will become useless because there's nothing there anymore. But it doesn't cost you anything either, so it's a neat little trick to get your people to automatically forage out there. I like that a lot. So as you see here, Vunas is now, Gray is now going on over there because obviously the berry harvest is ready. Go. Carry that home, you. So we have finished the workshop. Let's give the workshop also its own campfire. Simple reason for that is we have a masterwork. Is low temperature is also lowering the efficiency of your working. So basically you're working slower. So let's check out our masterwork. We have created a masterwork stool. So these quality levels, by the way, they influence the stats of the item. So quality in this level gives you a higher market value. As you see here, quality multiplier 250%. And there should be a modifier on comfort as well. So as you see there, quality multiplier is on several things. And if there's beauty on the item, it usually gets also influenced by the quality. There's a lot of things, but generally said, the higher the quality, the better the item is at doing what it's supposed to do. A masterwork bed will be really comfy. A masterwork weapon will be really high damage and accurate, and so on. So quality really matters, and if you ever get awful items, they are truly awful. So by all means, you should always try to replace awful items ASAP, because they are just that bad. So we have now a tailor bench, and that's the first spot where our dudes will sit in front of really long. So we're going to set up a piece of furniture here, the dining chair. So the dining chair is the bigger version of a stool. Features more comfort, needs more work units, and also needs more materials. The stool is a pretty low cost investment, and therefore you can really make it, you can really use it quite fast. Build it up really fast. So outside temperatures are negative now, so we're in a good moment to tell Gray to finally get started with the tailoring, because it's about time. Vunas, we're going to wake her up. Let's see. Oh well, I'm double tapping R now to wake her up. And if your people are that hungry, don't send them on a longer job. This is not a good idea. Just wake them up by double tapping R, drafting and undrafting them. And then, well, here I don't even need to order here. She's going on over to the dining chair. Awesome. Because since Gray is now sitting on the jackets, and those jackets have quite a lot of work, it's a great idea to provide a chair that's going to provide comfort to Gray. There we go. You can see now that the comfort level is rising. And that's good for the mood. So the dining chair here has also comfort rating and so on and so forth. And you see normal quality is just the 100% normal value. Everything below normal will be below 100%. Everything above normal will be above 100%. So enough talk about the qualities. I think we're all set here. So I wanted to show you what happens when the campfire is out. So the potatoes are now frozen. Amazing. That's the thing. If the outside temperatures go too low, the inside temperatures of the rooms will so too. And therefore, you can use this as nature's freezer. Basically, for the remainder of winter, we won't have any problems whatsoever with storing our food and keeping it fresh. So that's a great thing about winter. As you see here, Vunas is still somehow trying to sew out things. I usually let them unless there's something more important to do. Why do I let them? Because everything you do, every time you act on your skill, you get some XP. Even if those rice plants will just die in a couple of days, they gave Vunas some XP, and that's pretty much worth it. There was no pressing matter to be done for instead, so I'm okay with that. Alright, so another thing that we really need to work on now is our defenses. They aren't just as where they should be. We can still improve on that. Well, it really depends on your difficulty level, though. If you're running difficulty levels like Adventure Story or the like, you really don't need to invest so much into defenses. Oh yeah, and another thing that has been requested. So let's see. Yeah, that's a good spot. So you can go over into the options and get into the storyteller settings and modify them, because there has been the question how to turn off friendly fire and the like. So you get down here into the custom area, and here now we have all the different modifiers that apply to the gameplay. It's quite a lot at the first glance, but it's actually quite self-explanatory. So first off, make sure that you click on this tab here and set it on the difficulty where you want to play. So if you are usually Rock and Blood and Dust, let's click that. As you see here, all these meters have been now adjusted. And if you're playing Adventure Story, there we go. So it does not copy directly the settings you had before. You have to, it's always on 100%. So let's stick with Strive to Survive for my taste. That's just ideal. So here's the friendly fire meter. I like to turn that off. And here's also another meter, colonist instant kills. This game sometimes has the tendency that a stray bullet is just flat out annihilating a person without you having any say to that. If that pisses you off, a lot of people do feel like that, you can just turn that off. Friendly fire is something I usually always turn off. I just somehow forgot that. I don't know. Why do I turn off friendly fire? So, as a matter of fact, I do enjoy tactical shooting. I do enjoy thinking about how to position my dudes so they don't kill each other. What I don't enjoy are trader caravans just going randomly into combat with some manhunter and don't give a damn about my dudes standing in their line of fire. So the long story short, with friendly fire enabled, the neutrals will just kill your people if you don't micromanage them. If there's any firefight ever happening, the AI is so horrible at avoiding killing your people that it made me so pissed. I had once a pretty good go in colony, and one of my characters just received a random headshot because the caravan right next to the dude was just killing a man-hunting iguana or something ridiculous like that. All in all, this doesn't happen if you turn off friendly fire. It's your own decision. You can, of course, play around that. I just wanted to give you a fair warning. And that comes from somebody who's actually decent. I'm actually enjoying well-made friendly fire systems. Alright, so with that being said, you see, I see that Opossum is wearing our first jacket. So on the build tab, we have only 3 of them left, and there's already the 3rd being made. So Opossum now has a comfy temperature range of -17 degrees. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? So jackets are pretty good average temperature pieces of clothing. And if you have really heavy duty ahead of you, if your biome is stupidly cold, parkas are way to go. If you're generally living in a more warm area and you just need something against cold snaps and winter time, the duster is your weapon of choice. The jacket is somewhere in between. As you see there, or wait a sec, the duster was... Yeah, the duster insulates better against heat. That's really important to note. The duster is basically the anti-heat jacket, whereas the parka is the anti-cold jacket, and the jacket is the jacket in between. You know, that's the gist of it. We can, of course, do more than that. We can also add another build to make ourselves some headgear. So there's several headgear now. There was once a time where cowboy hats were all where cowboy hats and toques were all we had, but now we have more. So the toque can only be made out of fabric. So if you haven't planted out cotton the first year, that's out of question. You can, though, go for, let's see, I think the hood was also accepting leather. Yeah, so you can make hoods. Hoods are headwear, and let's see. the average insulation of a hood is more against heat. You see, the distribution is weighed stronger against heat, but it is not as if it wouldn't do anything for your peeps. And another thing, well, let's give you the impression there. So the Took's strong side is totally against cold. That's why I'm talking about it. The other headgear here, like the cowboy hat, for example, that's also totally biased against heat. So cotton is really good. It's a really good idea to plant that out also in the first year, but we didn't. We're going to plant that out in the next year, so let's just do that. And we're going to plant that down here in between. There we go. And here goes cotton. This won't do anything for us in this year, but that's just okay. There were just so many things, and while we could have done it easily in the first year, it just slipped past my attention. You get the idea. You can also be just smarter than me and plant out some cotton in your first year. But it won't kill us, I know that. So, we have a new quest. They ask us to keep 2 prisoners for 19 days, and we could get those rewards there. So, well, this quest has a expiration date of 6 days, and if I'd accept it today, we'd have to get 2 prisoners through the entirety of winter. While this is absolutely doable, the rewards are just outright boring. We could give ourselves some honor and promote Rowley even further in the ranks of the Empire, but that's generally a really bad idea, because your people, when they get new ranks, get also new desires. They want fancy clothing, they want better food, they want a throne room, and all these things must be provided for before you promote your fellas. Because if they are already promoted, then the requirements are already there. So what I'm trying to say is don't rush your royalty promotions. That's a really, really great way to screw up yourself if you do so. And that comes from somebody who did so. So we're going to remove that nasty looking rock here in the workshop. And Gray is providing our folks with clothing. Sitit just grabbed himself a jacket too. Well, okay. Then we're just making one more. So as we see there, our leather is running low. And therefore, I'd say we're going to go for some hunting tomorrow. I'm trying to get a jacket on for everybody by the end of this, or by the outbreak of winter. But generally, as long as you have some rooms which have an indoors temperature which is survivable for your folks, don't fear the winter too much. Because basically, when somebody is going outside when it's too cold for him, the game checks how much difference there is between the comfortable temperature range and the actual temperature. So if it's outside minus 50 degrees Celsius and your character is only insulated against 0 degree, he'll rack up frostbite immediately, insanely fast. But if you'd be insulated minus 40 and it's minus 50 outside, frostbite will rack up much slower. It's all about the difference between the actual temperature and your clothing. So, and also some species like the impid have a cold weakness, so they need a comfortable temperature, or they need more items to keep them warm than other people do. Well, so that means during these seasons, people like Vunas shouldn't be hunting outside too much, because she's going to suffer much faster from frostbite than other people. That means we're going to send our buddy Sutit out there to get us some elk or some caribou. Let's see. Let's see. I shouldn't look like that. So be smarter than me. Yeah. So we're going to grab that fella. Also quite nice to check out before you send somebody to manual hunt is whether or not they are well fed, they are hungry. You know, never send a hungry hunter. That's really a bad thing to do. So here we go for the usual procedure. Trying to get as many hits in as possible. Because one beautiful thing about winter is you can hunt as much as you please because your meat won't spoil during winter. So carnivore diet is really way to go during winter. So I could undraft Sutit already and just wait until the elk collapsed, but whatever. It's just amazingly difficult to bring down large game without guns. Hey, we have a first trader. Wonderful. So, bulk goods traders. Bulk goods traders are really cool traders because they sell all manner of different things and they buy all manner of different things, and that's something I like. So, let's see. Or, sort of cook again. Possum. Ah, yeah, Opossum is busy chilling. So, trading. Always send your best social person to trade. So, in our situation, that's Gray. You can check out who has the highest social skill by just hovering over those boxes. I usually run a mod, which makes it easier, but that's a method. You can also notice that the outlining is brighter the higher the skill level is. So I quite often use this as an overview about the skill levels of the colony. So great. We're going to check out the person who has the question mark here, Tassilo, and we're going to trade with Tassilo. Here we go. So that's the trade menu. Easily said. Left side is our stuff, right side is their stuff. That's our money, that's their money. That's their goods, that's our goods. So we're trying to make it even on this side. Or we have to have enough money to pay for it, or they have to have enough money to pay for our stuff. That can also happen. So let's see. It's a tribal bulk goods trader, so they don't sell too many things that we cannot produce ourselves. But there's one thing that I see. There's a muffler wool toque. We totally can use that. And we might just help ourselves to another hood there. I would prefer more toques, but whatever. And as you see there, the here, mine is 188. We have enough money to pay for that. Next off, I want to check on out if there's anything that I want to sell those folks. But I see that I only have a lot of food. I have some leathers. We could sell away the bird skin. And, well, I won't sell away anything else because the light leather and the plain leather are, right now, used a lot. So, let's do this. Trader will drop these items on the ground after trade for whatever reason that is. They just do that. And now we have a bit of extra clothing. So, let's see. Where did the toque go? That's always the same problem, that you have to look for your loot after you did your trade. I'm already quite used to that. So yeah, Vuna's grabbed the toque. I actually wanted her to grab it. You can always select somebody and right-click a piece of clothing for them to pick it up. For example, here Sutit, that's absolutely not necessary for him to grab that cloth hood. So he's going to drop that, pressing the arrow there. And then let's check on out. I think Gray's insulation is pretty crappy, so right-click that, force wear cloth hood. Keep in mind, though, if you tell them to force wear something, they'll never take it off again until you tell them to, or deteriorate it to nothingness. So you can always clear all forced things here in the assignment tab, though. So usually I do this like that. I force them to wear it, and then I clear the forcing. Usually they keep it on. That's a little bit of an iffy thing. So you see there, the cloth hood didn't do too much, but I want to keep it. Want to try my best. So last jacket is now being made. We have a new quest which is leading us to a treasure. So jump to the item stash. We could now form a caravan to get on over there to grab that stuff, but you know. These archive capsules in there are a reward, which is only interesting if you are able to do genetic manipulation. We don't really look like genetic engineers here, do we? So I'm not interested in that reward. Rewards for quests in this game are always procedurally generated, so there is a pretty high tendency of utmost crap coming on up for your fellas. So It is as it is. By the way, if you don't want your peeps to sow out that late into the year, you can always allow forbid sowing when the winter is nearing. You can check, you can turn that off, and then they stop doing that. I let them because it drains them, so just so you know. And now, technically, we are well prepared for winter. There's only one jacket missing in the colony. We're going to get that going as quick as possible. And then, well, there's a bit of a lack of headdress, but Opossum is on minus 17 degrees security. Roly needs that headdress the most. Roly and Gray are a little bit weaker insulated right now. But all in all, you don't need to have everybody geared out in the first year so they can stay outside in the winter permanently. That's not a necessity. It's great when you get it together, though. I don't want to say you don't need to try or you should not try, but it doesn't kill anybody for real either. What's really important is that you have rooms with a campfire going where people can warm up in the winter time. That's the most important thing. So keep an eye out for your wood stockpiles. Wood is really important. So those dudes are leaving now because it's already too cold for them. Winter is really not beginning when the when the last quadrum of the year starts, but it's more like dependent on where you live. So here, technically, winter began on the 6th of September, and when you go on over really deep into the north, you see here it's always winter, basically. Over here, winter begins in August, and when we go down there, we have a year-round growing period. Here it's basically never winter. 13 Celsius is the lowest temperature ever. Here we have later winter outbreak. Here winter starts only at December. You get the idea. So you really need to pay attention to where your tile's located at. So that's been all I wanted to say about winter preparations. We're pretty well prepared for winter. So all in all, we're going to outro this now. So in the next episode, I'm going to go a little bit more into what you can do during winter to get your time by, and we're going to hopefully see the discovery of electricity sometime soon. It's a pretty big chunky research because as a tribal person you just aren't that fast at researching. Our dude Satit ain't the fastest researcher either. Hey, wait a second, that's supposed to be Roly. So, well, we're going to talk about that in the next episode. Yeah, so, that's that. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment down below, and if you have any further questions, tell me there. Also, if you want to have certain features of the game explained, please let me know. I have a hard time knowing what kind of features you guys need to know about. Just for example, the headshot thing was has been asked for by the community, so keep them going. I like that. And feel free to thumbs up that thing, subscribe if you haven't done so, because I'm doing daily content like this. If you like that, you might like the other things too. And last but not least, there is a link to the playlist down there, so if you might want to check out episode 1, that's the way to do it. And of course, support me. There's Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee as ways and means to do so. I'd be really delighted if you check them out, and I thank all the supporters out there who are already doing so. It's really, really great. So thanks for watching. Hope you check out the next episode as well, and may the rims be good to you. See you there, and bye-bye.